This is more like a short video, something I need to get off my chest. It's unscripted, I've prepared nothing for it. I just want to touch on a couple of topics because it has been on my mind for a long time now, and it has gotten worse over the course of the past few days. And it's essentially that plugging. Plugging is a big issue at the moment for Tekken in terms of online. And this might be sounding like a lot of complaints. The base game is very good. I'm not against it. The Tekken team, Namco, whoever else has contributed to the creation of Tekken has done a great job. And I'm gonna have to say that personally I haven't been really enjoying gaming in general as a whole, which I understand as a personal issue instead of something that I can throw onto the faults of like the game's design or mechanics. So for instance, I haven't been enjoying Halo in the past few days, but I've been still playing it here and there. And whenever I felt that I had enough of it, or that it got to a certain point where I was tilting, I just put the game off, right? I put the game off, I took a break, and I just let my batteries, in quotations, recharge, so that whenever I hopped back on, I wouldn't have to be as tilted as like a game that I would play, or a match that I would play twice in a row, where I would just get my ass beat. I would just put the fault on the game's mechanics and its designs, that possibly the weapons are unbalanced and or that something feels like it's bullshit. The reason as to why I mentioned this is because, like I said, plugging is a big issue. And while you may not understand that it's not something that is actively hurting the player base, there is still some negative towards it. People will always argue that they have bought the game, they can do whatever they want, but I feel that if that is how we're going to approach gaming in a more competitive scene, where it's like with ranked instance, then there needs to be some consequences implemented. And the reason as to why I say this is because ranked isn't like casual playing, right? So if you're going into ranked, you have a different mentality and you also have different rules set in. It's not casual play. The reason as to why I say this is, once again, there is no repercussions for a plugger. And here's the thing that has been bothering me the most. When someone plugs, both parties that have been playing don't get a win or don't get a lose. So the game is just staying neutral. There is nothing else been added. The match never probably even happened. Now you might be wondering, okay, where's the issue with that? Might seem like a time waste, sure, but there's nothing else that has been actively hurting anybody, right? Here's the thing. In Tekken, when you have a win streak, experience points are being multiplied. Now imagine you have a win streak and someone plugs on you. You might be going, okay, no big issue, right? The win streak gets resetted. So all of your progress, all of your hard work, everything that you have been basically working up for in the past, let's just say maybe half an hour, right? Half an hour seems pretty okay. Yeah, it's gone. Just because somebody rage quit. So there is already a negative. Plus, when you add to it time waste, everybody has precious time on their hands, regardless of what kind of position you are in. If you are raging at a game to the point where you actively have to think about your rank and the points that you make, to the point where you have to actively yoink out your LAN cable or your Ethernet cable or whatever you want to call it and touch grass. Honestly speaking, touch grass, man. Or maybe don't even touch Tekken at all, because you just shown yourself that this game is not something that you actively enjoy, but you rather care about some pixels. You actively care about a pixel, about title, right? That's in the upper right corner, that is showcasing what kind of title you have so you can flex to your friends. Listen, I've been watching numerous videos on YouTube now where people have been actively talking about plugging issue, whether that be Mayman Sui, may that be Mike Hollow, you name it, right? And they're all talking about the issue that has been present ever since Tekken 6, where people get nothing when it comes to plugging from both sides. Sure, you may preserve your points, you may preserve whatever win rate you have, you may preserve whatever stats you have. Let's go over to the play data of mine, just to show you where I'm currently sitting at. I'm sitting at 43% of a win rate. Do you think I care about that shit? No. Do you genuinely think that this is what defines me? No. Tekken isn't supposed to be a game where you win all the time. You're supposed to learn by losing, by learning, and that's how you succeed, by failure. That's how you succeed. And we've been talking about this issue for a long time now. Plugging issue has been present in Tekken Tag 2, in Tekken 7, and now it's still in Tekken 8. I don't know what to say, man. I really don't. This might sound like a first world problem, but honestly speaking, I don't really care anymore. Whenever I'm feeling that I am not enjoying a game, I just close the game. After I played the match or played the round, whatever it's called, right? I just finish my set, whether that be Halo, whether that be Tekken, and I take a break. I don't actively stay in ranked, right? And be like, I don't want to lose my win, I don't want to lose my rank. And unplug and yoink my Ethernet cable out, or go like into the home screen and quit the game. I haven't talked about this earlier because it hasn't been as prevalent before, but now everybody is just so concerned about how they appear online, rather than to essentially accept the fact and also accept that, yeah, I am a bad player at the moment. I am not winning every game. But how much of a bitch do you need to be to care about pixels? This is what I had earlier today. This is what I had earlier today. Let's just go over this, right? It's the first match that I genuinely joined into today. You can see I was being this lost ass. And he was also doing some good shit on me. But guess what? I read him. I read him beforehand. And so what happens now? And look at that, 2 wins, gone. You might be like, okay, 2 wins, you can easily take that back again. I was on a multiplying streak already. Why is it that somebody who had a bad mood decides to yoink their cable out also is hurting me in the long run? And people want to make the argument, oh, I bought the game, I can do whatever I want with it. Shut the fuck up. Counter-Strike. When it was back in Counter-Strike Global Offensive, and possibly also now, I haven't really touched the game in a long ass time. Whenever you decided to quit or disconnect for whatever reason, right? Whether that be like your internet genuinely just failing on you mid competitive matches, you would get a timeout for 30 minutes. And whenever that shit repeated itself, right, it would get stacked. You essentially went from a half an hour to 1 hour to basically the maximum was 1 week. 1 week of just no playing at all. You had no access to online unless you had a different account to essentially hop back on. But here, you get no repercussions, you get no consequences taken against you. Counter-Strike has taught me one thing. Sometimes shit happens. Shit just happens. You know how many times I've been timed out just because I had wonky internet, because I had to fix that, and first and foremost because things were just out of my control and I had to deal with that. I just had to deal with that. What's also funny to me is that I have yet to find or meet a player that has a disconnection rate higher than 0.0. I really don't understand what's going on with Tekken at the moment. Sure, I have my gripes with it as well when it comes to the netcode, because people are saying that rollback is a good feature at the moment. It's very fleshed out. Honestly speaking, sometimes I feel that it's fucking me over, but it is what it is. I move on. I move on. But people are so focused on having higher ranks and what shit that essentially they're just like, oh, let me just yoink. Listen, I get tilted at fucking Tekken myself, right? Sometimes it's just like that. You can see it in streams that I have uploaded onto this channel, and you can see how I reacted to it, and I'm just like, you know, just put me on a demotion match at this point, because, man, yeah, I accept defeat. That's how it is. You need to accept defeat in order to succeed. That's how it works. I genuinely do accept defeat. But guess what I do? I watch YouTube videos. I also converse with other people in the community, right? I am in a Discord server, the Tekken Zaibatsu, where I am conversing, I'm talking to other people. I'm like, hey, I'm having issues with this and that. And sometimes I also just have questions in general, where it's like, for instance, oh, how do I wave dash faster, for instance? Because I'm on a pad. And then people are like, oh, guess what? People are using hitboxes. They might be faster because of that. I'm like, okay, cool. Then maybe it's just either a skill issue or something that is hardware related. I've been playing Tekken ever since I was fucking born. I was fucking born with Tekken 5 in hand, right? And I'm still bad at the game. That's just how it is. That's just how it is. You can't expect to be good at everything. I am bad at games in general. Do you still see me complain about that? No, I just get salty. I'm like, man, fuck this shit, and that's about it. I don't go out of my way and be like, I'm going to wait quit. I'm going to wait quit. Ever since the game has been launched, people have been debating on what solutions are best fit for the current situation of plugging. And I will have to say that in some instances I agree and in some instances I disagree. And I want to tackle one solution that has been presented over and over again, especially in the Tekken Zaibatsu, in the Discord server that I am currently also part of. It's essentially the fact that pluggers shouldn't be penalized, but the winner should be rewarded with a win. I agree on the latter part. The winner should be rewarded with a win, regardless of what solution you present with. Because the player that is remaining in the match decides to finish the game in comparison to the other one. And because of that, because it's a competitive area, a competitive habitat, it's not, once again, it's not casual playing, because there's a separate mode for that. Bear in mind, let's keep that in mind, there's a separate mode for casual playing outside of rank. In rank there should be consequences for you leaving a match. I'm not against the idea of having 3 strikes before you actually get penalized, because I am going to acknowledge the fact, yes, internet connections can possibly be wonky at times. Internet can also be affected by power outages, right? There are different influences that could influence a match during a game. However, when it appears to happen on numerous occasions, multiple times in a specific time frame, then you can't say, oh, my cat has spilled water on the router, or oh, my power went out. 3 strikes, that's what I'm fine with, right? You can always be like, okay, accidents can happen, things that you didn't account for happen. 3 strikes is more than enough in a specific time frame. Still reward the player that is left, but penalize the one that is leaving. I don't understand why this is still a topic that we need to talk about all these years. All these years. I don't get it. It's grinding my gears. I guess I'm going to part with the words, or the last word, that if you don't enjoy a game, or if you're focused on fucking pixels, don't play the fucking game, right? Just don't play the fucking game. If you want to complain about it, if you want to go back to Twitter and complain about it, then shut the fuck up, go and touch some grass. That's basically it. Don't even touch the game anymore. That's all I had to say. Thank you.